Hello, and we are live. So, welcome to this presentation on Bust the Sugar Blues, how to stop sugar cravings, as well as recipes to help satisfy your sweet tooth by using essential oils. So, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so again, as I said, the title of this presentation is Bust the Sugar Blues, how to stop sugar cravings with essential oils. Okay, so let's talk for a minute here about me. I am a holistic health coach who received my training and certification with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And in fact, actually, my official graduation date is still about 3 weeks out from the recording of this video. But, I finished all my requirements to graduate from the program, so I basically have it. And I also have been with the company doTERRA for going on 4 years. It'll be my 4-year anniversary this coming July. And I personally developed a real passion for holistic health and natural healing, nutrition, that kind of thing, when I really wasn't finding the solutions that I was looking for in Western medicine for myself. I'd had really chronic allergies and asthma from the time I was young, and the drugs, inhalers, that kind of thing really weren't working for me. And I found that essential oils really did help me a lot more than a lot of other drugs. And then I also discovered acupuncture and chiropractic and diet changes and, different holistic therapies and things that have really helped me a lot more. And I have discovered as well on my own personal journey, as well as my learning, that sugar is something that is really a major problem for a lot of people. And if you're having a lot of sugar cravings and you give into those cravings and you eat a lot of sugar, then you're going to continue to struggle to overcome some of your health issues and things like that. So let's get started talking about that. Okay, so first of all, I want to ask the question, why do you have sugar cravings? And let's actually exit out of that. Let's see if we have anybody on that is going to answer that question. And it looks like we do not. Okay, so we will go back, sorry there, to the screen share. There we go. Okay, so I want you to, as you're watching this, and most people are probably going to be watching this as they're recording, to think about, why do you have sugar cravings? And I want you to write down all the different reasons that you can think about as to why you have these. So I'll pause here for just a minute or two and let you write those down. Okay, let's move on. And if you need more time, you can continue writing throughout the presentation. Okay, so here to start with, there's some common reasons why you might be craving sugar. So some of these reasons may have been included on your list, others may not be, but now that you're seeing the list, you might actually want to include those. So the first one is a lack of water, a lack of sleep, hormonal imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, stress, and a lack of what is called primary food. And I'm going to explain a little bit more later what that means. So primary food includes these different things here: relationships, home environment, physical exercise and movement, spirituality, social life, joy, career, finances, and education. So as you can see, the primary food, and the best way that I can think of to explain it, as it's been explained to me as part of my health coaching training as well, is that primary food is everything that fuels you in life that isn't food on your plate. So as you can see, all of these different things that are here on this list have some kind of an impact on your overall health, and to some degree or another, and they may even be having a bigger impact on your overall health than what you're actually aware of. So, how are your relationships going for you? If you're struggling with relationships, that may lead you to want to crave sugar. If your home environment is not like it should be, that may cause you to crave sugar. If you're not getting the kind of physical exercise and movement that you should be getting, then, you might crave sugar there. If your spirituality or your spiritual life is not in alignment, and I want to stop for a second as well and emphasize that that does not necessarily mean religion. Some people affiliate religion with spirituality, and that's great. If you happen to be a member of an organized religion and that happens to be, your belief system and what you really feel strongly in, then that's great. But the reality is that everybody needs some kind of spirituality, even if it's not necessarily connected to a religion or being a member of a specific church. Okay, your social life. The reality is that we all need some kind of social life, and we all need to have time where we spend with friends and go out and do fun things. Joy, are you really truly happy? Or, could you maybe use some help in that area? Okay, career. Are you really happy and satisfied in your career and what you're doing for your career? Because if not, this could also cause you to want to crave sugar and get that sugar high or sugar kick to help you out with that. Also, finances, are you doing okay financially? If not, this can also be something that can impact you as well. And then education. So, are you constantly learning new things, or are you struggling a little bit there? So I realize this may be a new concept and something that some people don't really think about, but the reality is that a lot of the different things and the levels of your satisfaction you experience with a lot of these different things that we call primary food can really influence your diet and what kinds of things you're eating with secondary food, which includes the sugar cravings. And okay, so now let's actually go back a little bit and examine a few more of these. So lack of water. So I have found that one tip that can really help if you are craving sugar is to actually drink some water and then wait, a few minutes and see if that helps your sugar cravings to go away. Also, a lack of sleep. Do you get at least 7 hours of high quality sleep a night? I know a lot of people don't, and depending on your circumstances in life, you might think that that's a little crazy. Maybe if you have little children, you may think, what? Or other things that cause you to be disturbed from sleep. But the reality is that good high quality sleep is really important. Then hormonal imbalances, and these can be huge for people. These can be actually the root cause of a reason why a lot of people can't lose weight. It's a lot of people think it's all about the diet or the calories or the exercise, things like that, and that's not always true. And these hormonal imbalances, especially as women, can impact us at a certain time of the month, and we can be more inclined to crave sugar during that time of the month. Okay, nutrient deficiencies. This is another reason. There's a couple studies that I've seen recently that have said that about 80% of the population is deficient in magnesium. And so that can be, one reason you may be craving sugar, but you may have other nutrient deficiencies as well that could be causing you to crave sugar. And stress, I think we've all experienced that, where you get really stressed out and you want to go on this eating binge and start eating a whole bunch of chocolate, cake, cookies, that kind of thing, because you're stressed out. Okay. So here are some tips now to help you handle sugar cravings. Some additional tips. I realize I already offered some previously. So number one is to reduce or eliminate caffeine. So, this is another thing a lot of people don't realize, is that if you are dependent on and taking a lot of caffeine, especially if you have that lovely coffee addiction that you feel like you have to have coffee every morning in order to wake up, this can also be connected to having a sugar craving. And it's not just coffee, it's also soda pop or, anything that has a high amount of caffeine in it. Number two is to drink water. And if you feel like you really can't handle just drinking plain water, here are a couple of ideas of things that you can do to help you enjoy the flavor of the water and get a little more. You can add fruit. You've probably seen lately there have been a lot of things circulating on the internet, especially they've been really popular on Pinterest and on several blogs of people showing how to diffuse or mix fruit into water, and then you drink the water that has the flavor of strawberries or kiwi or oranges or whatever fruit that you choose, and that can really help as well. Also, you can add stevia, and if you're not familiar with it, stevia is just an herbal sweetener. It's an herb, actually. Stevia is that actually has a natural sweetened flavor to it, and you can just add a couple of drops to your water and drink it. The other thing too, you can also add citrus essential oils. So this would include lemon, lime, and wild orange and grapefruit would be the main ones. And I want to however, add a caution here, or a couple cautions. The first caution is that you need to double check the purity of the oil that you put in water. So you can't just automatically assume that any essential oil can be added to water. You want to use one that is a therapeutic grade and, you know, is safe for internal use. And you also want to be careful to not put, I highly recommend you don't put more than 1 or 2 drops in an 8-ounce glass, and that you're really careful about how many essential oils you do drink internally in water, because there are a couple of studies that have come out that have said that if you take too many essential oils internally, it can have a negative impact on your digestive system. So you want to be really careful there. And yeah, but you still can do that as long as you use it in, you know, minimum amounts. Okay, number 3 is to eat sweet vegetables and fruit. So sweet vegetables would include things such as sweet peas, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, you know, and fruit, you know, it is pretty explanatory, but I found that sometimes if I'm really having a sugar craving, I can eat something like a banana with some strawberries, or maybe a banana with a little bit of peanut butter or almond butter, and that will do a pretty good job of helping me to satisfy my sweet craving, and, you know, will help make that really strong desire to have a lot of sugar go away. Number 4, avoid processed foods and foods with added sugar. So, you know, they have said that a lot of processed foods, so, you know, that's food that's in a box, microwave dinners, potato chips, crackers, you know, really anything that is not real whole live food, you know, or vegetables, fruits, meats, whole grains, that kind of thing, can actually contribute to a desire for sugar. And the same thing with foods with added sugar. Today's day and age, this has become a real epidemic and a real problem. There are a lot of foods that have added sugar to them. And so as a result, it's a lot harder to eliminate sugar from your diet because there are so many foods that automatically have it. So this, you know, again, is another reason to reduce, or if anything, for some people, they may need to eliminate the foods that obviously have sugar, things like cakes and cookies and things like that, because they're already getting more sugar than they probably should have just from the added sugar that's in a lot of foods. And you want to be careful too, because it doesn't always just say sugar. I think a lot of people are somewhat familiar with this, that there are a lot of different names for sugar as well, and that really is a topic of a whole nother webinar. But things like, for example, high fructose corn syrup is a big one, and that one is just really not, you know, good for you, and is a processed form of sugar. In fact, you're better off having regular sugar than having that. So let's take another break here a little bit and see if anybody's asking questions. And it does not look like I have anybody asking questions. Good. Okay. So we will go back to screen share then here again. Okay, so number 4, avoid processed foods and foods with added sugar. Number 5, get physically active. So this was mentioned already before when we went through the list of some of the common reasons that people crave sugar. And, you know, it may sound crazy, but seriously, if you're craving sugar, you can help yourself to get over that addiction and that desire for sugar by getting out there and taking a walk. Or, you know, summer is upon us, you could go swimming, you could, you know, just find something to do to get physically active and avoid that craving and desire to have sugar. Number 6, get more sleep. You know, and as I mentioned before already, the reality is that most of us are not getting enough sleep. And, you know, if you feel like you really need to take a nap because you're just really tired, this is something you should probably consider doing, and don't feel guilty about it, just do it. Number 7, evaluate how much meat you are eating. This is another thing that a lot of people don't think about. And if you're eating too much meat, this can actually increase sugar cravings and desire for sugar. And, exactly how much meat is too much will actually vary from person to person. Some people actually do better with less meat, whereas some people actually need a little more meat. So, this isn't something that there's a one size fits all, but, if you are having a lot of sugar cravings, you may want to take a look at how much meat you're eating and maybe consider cutting back a little bit. Number 8, eliminate fat-free or low-fat packaged snack foods. So this goes along again with the processed food that we talked about earlier, and I'm sure you can all relate to this. You go to the store, you read some of the labels, you think, oh, okay, this is pretty low on fat or maybe even no fat, these chips or these cookies or crackers, they look pretty good. I think I'll just get these, and it's okay, I'll just eat one at a time. Well, how many of you can relate to the experience of getting home, eating one, and then, it doesn't stop with one, and before you know it, you've eaten the whole thing, and you've consumed who knows how many, maybe 500, 1,000, maybe even more calories just on a snack, and then, that's even before you've eaten dinner. So, there are some studies that have been done, and I think you would probably agree with me as well, without necessarily having to read some of these studies, that have said that a lot of these foods, these processed foods and these fat-free and low-fat packaged snack foods, actually have some chemicals and different ingredients in them that are designed to make you continually want to eat more and more and more, and to increase your desire to have more of that food as well as more sugar and things like that. And I found that, if you can go a whole week without these, then a lot of times you will stop, having the cravings, and it will be much easier. Okay, number 9, experiment with spices. So this is something that you can do as well to help you break free from that desire for sugary flavored sauces, or, things that cooking with a lot of ingredients that have a lot of extra sugar. There are a lot of spices that I really like. Lemon pepper is actually one of my favorites. I also like using just a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. And you can actually usually just find that pink Himalayan salt in the bulk section at the grocery store. And then there are other things too. You can use parsley, you can use some ground up spinach, paprika can be good. If you're cooking something sweeter, you can add a little bit of cinnamon. Anyway, you get the idea. Just experiment with some different spices that are out there. You can even just stroll through the spices section at the grocery store and figure out, what else could you cook with that doesn't have all that added sugar in it. Okay, so now let's talk about my favorite part, and this is the part on how to bust your sweet tooth with essential oils. So here are some of the best essential oils to use in desserts and to satisfy a sweet tooth. And I want to also make sure, just like I mentioned previously with the essential oils in the water, before you use any essential oil internally, which includes cooking with it, you need to make sure that you're using essential oil that is a therapeutic grade and that the label actually says that it's for internal use, because not all essential oils actually are that way. And this is especially true of some of the cheaper brands that you find like at Whole Foods, or just off the shelf or on Amazon or whatever. And personally, these are not my favorite places to get essential oils, and I'll cover later exactly which ones I use. But here we go. So wild orange, or in some cases it may just be called orange, lemon, lime, cassia, cinnamon, and peppermint. And of interesting note, cassia and cinnamon are actually from the same plant. Cinnamon is actually from the bark, and cassia essential oil is actually from the leaves of the cinnamon plant. And so those are both a hotter oil, and but they can add a lot of really great flavor. So anyway, these are my favorite essential oils and what I think are the best for desserts. That doesn't mean that these are the only ones. Like, for example, grapefruit potentially could work in some things, but it definitely has more of a bitter taste to it, if you will. So it is not my absolute favorite. Okay, so the first idea that you could do is you can make some kind of a smoothie, and there's lots of different recipes that you can do, but the basic recipe that I really like is to throw in a banana with some kind of berries. So, that could be strawberries, could be raspberries, could be blueberries, could be a mixture of all three, could be blackberries. Anyway, just, a handful of berries and some raw cocoa powder. So, this is the actual powder from the coca plant. So it's going to be a little bit different than, chocolate per se, because it doesn't have any added sugar. But it tastes plenty sweet. Believe me, it really does. And then you add in a little bit of some kind of milk. Now, personally, I prefer to use either coconut milk or almond milk, or maybe flax milk. I don't drink dairy milk at all, actually. But, if your stomach and digestive system can handle regular milk, then, you might be okay with a little of that too. And then put in 1 to 2 drops of either wild orange or cashew essential oil. Those just happen to be my favorite in this particular recipe. You could experiment and try some of the others, but this just happens to be those two happen to be my favorite. And then you just blend it up. And I prefer to use a Blendtec blender. That's my favorite kind. But you could if you have a Vitamix, you could use that. And really, you could use any other kind. But, ideally, you want a Blendtec or a Vitamix. Okay, number 2 is to eat some vanilla flavored Greek yogurt with 1 to 2 drops of wild orange, lemon, or cashew essential oil. So again, these last three, the wild orange, the lemon, and the cashew, are my favorites in this particular thing. And so, you just put 1 to 2 drops in a serving size of the vanilla Greek yogurt, flavored Greek yogurt, and eat it. And the same thing would also work if you're not on dairy products. You could also do something like they have coconut milk yogurt or almond milk flavored yogurt. You could do that as well. Number 3 is to add 1 to 2 drops of wild orange essential oil to coffee or hot chocolate. And this is something, I have actually quite a few customers that will buy the orange just specifically for this. And I'm not a coffee drinker personally, but I do like hot chocolate with some wild orange. But I have heard for people who are coffee drinkers that it's really, really good. Number 4 is you can add 1 to 2 drops of wild orange to peanut butter, almond butter, or sun butter. And what sun butter is a special kind of a butter that's made out of sunflower seeds, and really targets the market of people who have peanut and or tree nut allergies. But I really like it, even though I don't have peanut or tree nut allergies. And it's really good. But anyway, so one of those kinds of butters, and you can serve with crackers or a piece of toast. You could do gluten-free if that's what you have to do. That's what I have to do. So, gluten-free bread, gluten-free crackers. And this is really good and will really help satisfy your taste, your hunger, and your craving for sugar as well. Number 5 is to make some kind of a pudding or parfait, but to make it a healthier kind. So what you do here is you layer bananas with strawberries and raspberries with either yogurt or whipped cream. And again, if you have to use like a rice milk whipped cream or coconut yogurt or whatever, your milk flavored substitute is, you can do that too, in a bowl. And you add 1 to 2 drops of wild orange, lime, cashew, or cinnamon essential oil. And I tell you, oh, this is so good, so delicious. And you'll never know that it really doesn't, well, some kinds of whipped cream, may have sugar added, so I recommend that you find a kind that doesn't. But, and same with yogurt, you want to be really careful what kind of yogurt you get. That's why I prefer some kind of like Greek yogurt or, the non-flavored or whatever the sugar. Number 6, you can make a treat by mixing 1 to 2 drops of peppermint essential oil with the raw cocoa, like we just previously explained, and then you can blend it with coconut or almond milk. And sometimes people think, oh, the raw cocoa is not going to be very good because it doesn't have added sugar, but trust me, it is so good. It definitely helps satisfy my chocolate sweet tooth. And that's saying a lot considering the fact that I really have struggled with chocolate addiction, chocolate cravings. That's really been my weakness, if you will. So then you can experiment. So you can make up your own sweet treats with combinations of fruit, yogurt, whipped cream, raw cocoa, honey, and essential oils. So, you could make different connotations based on some of the different things that we've talked about here. So let's see now again if there are any questions. And does not look like I have anybody asking any questions. If you have any questions and you're on and you want to type them in now, go ahead. In the meantime, I will. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how to work with me. So if you are not already getting and using essential oils, then I highly recommend that you use the doTERRA brand. That's the ones that I use and that you can safely cook with and use for internal use. And so you can go to this URL right here and get your own wholesale account with me at mydoterra.com/AnnaLauraBrown. And also would like to invite you, if you would like to talk to me some more, to schedule a time for your free wellness consultation at this URL here at askannalaura.com. And even if you are already a doTERRA user or another essential oils user and you're not really interested in essential oils, you can still schedule a wellness consultation and I can talk with you a little bit more about your specific needs and about how I can help you to overcome your sugar cravings. And I will also add in that if you do open up a wholesale account with me with doTERRA, that I do actually offer some health coaching for free that I actually don't just give to people who are not working with me with doTERRA. So the least expensive way to actually get the health coaching is to join my doTERRA team. But you know, if for some reason you're already on another doTERRA team or you just don't want to join a doTERRA team for any reason, then because you've already got your own essential oils or you know whatever reason is, you can also request a wellness consultation. Those are free, and as part of that conversation I will talk with you a little bit more about some of my health coaching programs that I have available. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful, and I will check just one last time to see if we have any questions, and if not, this is the end of the webinar. And it looks like we do not have any questions. So thanks for listening, take care, and I hope to hear from you soon.